on the NewsChannel 5 network. This is OpenLine.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on OpenLine. Tonight's topic is unsolved murders in the Nashville and Davidson County area. I'm joined with several guests. Let's start first with Miss Nedra Jones. Tell me a little bit about your story and your son's unsolved case.
My son was murdered 5 years ago in Tony Sudicum housing projects. He came out of his house and somebody came up and shot him. And it's been, like I said, it's been 5 years. They got close to getting him, but then I don't know what happened after that. So we still where we was at the beginning.
And now, Ms. Talia, tell me a little bit about your story and your son's unsolved murder.
Actually, my son's case was solved. My son was murdered 7 years ago, June 9, 2012. He was my oldest son, 17. Went to a Sweet 16 party, exited a car, and was shot. One of the reasons why I'm here with Partners in the Struggle and Earl Jordan is to support unsolved murders. I know all the work that you have to do when you know your loved one is murdered, and I'm here to support Mrs. Jones and her family and to try to help get this thing solved and to let people know that it can happen.
What was crucial in cracking that case, and how did they find the person responsible?
Well, what's crucial is just us working, being a part of the community, talking to any and everybody that you can, writing down any and everything that you can remember, calling the detectives on a day-to-day basis, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and you may get on their nerves, but, that's my son, and ultimately he's everybody's son. So when a murder happens, we all have to get involved, and that's what's one of the keys to finding the 2 guys that murdered my son was tips. I talked to multiple kids. Matter of fact, somebody called me and let me know where one of the guys were, one of the suspects were. So that's the key, it's just work. You got to put in the work.
And Mr. Jordan, tell us a little bit about Partners in the Struggle and the event that you guys have coming up.
My name is Earl Jordan, and I'm the founder, president, and CEO of the Partners in the Struggle organization here in Nashville, Tennessee. Been doing Partners in the Struggle for 21 years. Started it basically inspired after the birth of my daughter, Clanicia Jordan, back in 1995, September 23rd. That same year, in 1995, we had a large volume of homicides here in Nashville, including children. And so as a first-time father, it just did something to me, to the point of I wanted to support the families, be the support for them, the voice for them, and just be there, in the long haul when a murder transpired here in the city. So this week we conducted the 10th annual Unsolved Murder Week, just basically bringing awareness to a lot of the unsolved murders here in Nashville with Nedra and Talia. Just trying to, solve these cases. It's one of the most important things that we can do as far as giving support to the detectives and the police department and helping solve these crimes. So that's what we're here to do.
Ms. Jones, as a mom, 5 years, not having answers, just wanting that closure, how do you get through day by day?
Prayer, a lot of prayer. I have his daughter, I have his baby girl, and so that helps me get through. That helps me get through my day. She looks just like him. He was 25 when he was murdered. He left 3 little girls. I had the middle baby. I'm sorry, I said the youngest. I had the middle girl. And just having her there to help me through, like I said, a lot of prayer, a lot of friends and family, that touch bases with you daily. And just trying to get this solved. That's the main thing. Mm-hmm.
In case someone watching might be living in the Tony Sudicum apartments or may have seen something 5 years ago, kind of elaborate on the details that you have confirmed now. Were there any suspect descriptions?
Yeah, they saw somebody in a car. It was a dark colored car. I don't know what color car, but it was 2 guys already there. They was supposed to have been there in front of where my son was staying at with his girlfriend. And they were supposed to be texting his girlfriend or something and telling her to come outside, and my son just happened to see the text, and he went outside, and him and the guy, you know, first they exchanged a few words, but then the guy said he didn't know that she had a boyfriend, and they kind of squashed it. Well, supposedly they shook hands and went on. Then my son was out there with my two nephews, and he took the baby in the house. He had the baby with him, so he took her in the house, lay her down. Well, when he came out and walked across the street where my nephews were, that's when this other car was supposed to have been done pulled up and shot, because all three of them were shot. Wasn't just my son, he was the only fatality, but it was the other two were shot too. And then they just sped off. They said people saw stuff, but they were afraid of these people. Said these people were people that kind of ran South Nashville, or they knew they were bad people or whatever, and they were afraid to talk. So, but now, I mean, then some came forth and said they knew who he was, told them who he was. Now, they were supposed to have been to his house on a different note, on a drug charge. They supposed to been and got him on this drug charge, but the girlfriend was supposed to have taken the charge. So he got away again because the girlfriend took the drug charge and the gun charge. So now we back to square one. So I don't know how they let him loose. And they knew he was in the area because he admitted he was in the area at the time, but they didn't find the weapon or anything at that time.
Officers in that case probably thought, well, look, we'll get him for this, and then as we continue gathering case and trying to find evidence on the murder, because a lot of the times, you know, the will is there and they want to be able to help, but if there's no witnesses, there's no video, and I don't know, I guess 5 years ago there was probably some type of surveillance video in Tony Sodacom, but I mean, nowadays you've got this ring.com, you've got these cameras. Fortunately, those things are helping solve some crimes and in some cases.
Exactly. Well, they have cameras that I heard, excuse me, I don't know if they work or not, but they said they had cameras in the area. I'm not sure.
And you actually started a foundation as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
I started my own foundation named after my son about a couple of years ago, the Antoine Covenant Jr. Foundation. And what prompted me to do that was because I was a very young parent. And so what I want to do is give that support to parents with young kids that sometimes don't always go in the right direction, you know what I'm saying? So we people like that still need that support, because sometimes you have good parents, but your child might go the wrong way. That does not deter your parenting skills. And I want to focus on helping to support those parents no matter what.
Do you have parents call you often just to say, I'm dealing with this? What are their biggest struggles, and what are their emotions as they wait for their cases to be solved?
Me or her?
Either one.
Oh, I thought you was talking to her since she was talking about she got the foundation. Well, I have parents that call, but they don't talk about their children being murdered. They just call for support. You know, I know a few people whose children has been murdered, but like I said, I haven't spoken to them or reached out to them because I have no way of contacting them. You know, the people that have called me just call for support and see where the case is at now, and you know, maybe what they can do or put out. I said, well, just ask around. You know, this one girl that they said did know everything, a lot of stuff. She's supposed to been to move to Gallatin. And the new detectives that came on last year, they've been checking into some things. Now my sister contact them on a weekly basis, but they say they're still trying to contact this one young lady with no, you know, So
It's tough for sure. I know we have a couple callers on the line. Jeff, do you have a question for our guest here tonight?
Yes, I had a son killed in Sucum January the 28th, 2012, and that case is still unsolved. It was about 3:30 in the evening. Grandmother sitting on the porch. I'm a grandfather, 63-year-old, raising a 14-year-old boy that was left behind in 2012. This child is still in counseling. Still have nightmares of his. He's the only child. Still have nightmares we dealing with. It's a shame. I worked in them projects out there 15 years as a maintenance man. I'm no stranger to the crime, to the code these people live by, and it's crazy. The only way the community is going to get safe again and stay safe, you got to root out the weeds. It's just like growing corn. Corn will get smothered out if you don't weed it. We've got to open our mouths, protect our kids that's wanting to do something and be somewhere. This boy of mine changed his life. We're going to get married February the 14th, 2012, and got murdered January the 28th. And they know who these people are. They are in prison now because they killed somebody in November of 2011. They've been to prisons. They've been to these female houses, live there. They let them come in, change clothes. They shut this boy down, took his pants off of him, and went a couple of rows down. You know, I understand the fear of being scared of these people, but once you're here, they're in jail. Step forward and keep them there so they can't kill somebody else's child. To have them going through what I go through and live through every day. This is real. After the dirt sell in them graveyards, my grandson goes there every week to talk to his dad.
right.
Every week. We got all kind of groups, Moms Over Murder. I'm a part of some of these groups, but what are we doing? Nothing, because it hadn't stopped. It's a lot of work to be done. The preacher's got to come out of the pulpit, put the Bible down, raise up his sleeves, spend some Saturdays on the corner with these boys. They're fatherless. Let the father step up and be the father of the father. I'm tired of organizations because the bullets are still killing and the organizations are just talking. I've been a part of one organization ever since this boy been killed, and I stepped back because I don't see the movement doing anything. I don't want to be a part of something that's really not doing nothing. These kids need something to do. We need to open these community centers back up, start these basketball leagues like I played in, and I'm 63. We've got to invest in the future. You can start these basketball leagues on the weekend, Friday, Saturday night, put a basketball in the hand and replace the gun and the bag of weed they sell it.
Right.
You know, we'll pick up devilish things when we don't have heavenly things to do. We're living in a society that has got so much money to pump behind garbage, and we can't pump money to save lives. I'm through. I'm sorry. I'm through.
Thank you, Jeff. You can really hear the heartbreak.
Yes.
Still, you know, you have grandfathers, grandmothers stepping into the role of parent.
Right.
And it's hard on families.
Let me intervene, and my heart goes out to him. I understand exactly where he's coming from. You have a lot of organizations who are doing great work here in the city. And like I said again, regardless of what organization you may be involved with, just continue to put in the work. If these individuals are incarcerated, you know, push the envelope to make sure that you can do whatever you can do to make sure they can get arrested for that murder case. I understand everything that he's stating. I grew up in the J.C. Napier homes, and he's right. A lot of things that our kids are going through right now in 2019 is serious. And we live in a world right now where there may be things more important than investing in our kids. And we got to get back into, on this situation, investing in our kids. I work in the school system, so I understand that. So I put in work every day the last 17 years with kids in the Metro school system, so I do understand. But it starts with us. we can't say that maybe this person or that person's not doing enough. We all got to put in work, and that's what we're trying to do.
Hold that thought. We do have to hit a commercial break. We have someone on hold. As soon as we get through this break, we'll make sure we take your call.